Welcome into another Sportscast Spotlight interview. With me today, I've got almost the whole team of the women's Lakers soccer team. With me is head coach David Bitonti. I didn't get your positions, but we'll do that in a second. Annika, Nolte, and Cassidy Brooks. First of all, welcome into the program, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll start with you, Cassidy. What is your position? I should have asked that before we started, but
no worries.
Now
I'm
you're
a
on the
striker.
spot. You're striker? Okay, cool. And Annika, what about yourself?
Midfield.
Midfield. Sweet. And obviously, David, you are the head coach. We were talking a little bit off camera, actually, about your career a little bit. 25 years, I believe you said, kind of within kind of the program. So let's take a little look at the program to begin with. How long have you been at it currently, and how has the program kind of changed along the way since you started?
Yeah, so currently it's been 24 years. We started really very humble beginnings, right? Just recruiting wasn't a thing. When we first started, it was, whoever was at the university and could play. And so it was, there was a lot of years of some struggle and hair-pulling experiences, right? And especially when you're at this level and you want to compete and you want to be competitive, it was fun. It's always fun to coach, but it becomes frustrating when the losses start to pile up. And then, you start to figure out you start to figure out your way as a coach, and then you identify where are the areas that we can improve on, and then that has to be the focus. And so, it goes a lot to recruitment. It goes a lot, I think, to not so much our program, but deeper in terms of the soccer landscape in Ontario and in Canada, and especially at the women's game, how much it's improved. And, the players who are coming in now are more experienced, talented. The coaching has gotten better across the province, and it's starting now to really reflect itself in the U Sport level. And so, we're the beneficiaries of that. And I think it comes down to how we've recruited, who we have recruited. We talk about a game plan in terms of, strategy and, a formation and a philosophy of play. And, that changes from year to year based on the kids that we have in our roster, right? We have a mind. What we have in mind is a formation in terms of how we want to play and a tactical approach. But if we don't have the players that can, fill that, then we have to change and adapt. So it's been quite a journey from, the our early days to where we are now, the nationally ranked program. But it's really a testament to the student athletes that we have. It's we feel like we've been part of it, but we are not the process. It really is the girls.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the philosophy and changing it. So I'm a huge football or soccer fan. I watch Premier League all the time. I'm a Chelsea fan, so take that for what it is. But it's funny how you say that because, like Manchester United, right? Ruben Amorim, he's under fire for not doing that, for not changing, for saying like this is how I'm playing, and you're going to fit into my style. Yeah. What is the philosophy, I guess, this year for you guys? What is the tactics? What are you trying to instill on your players?
We have really two philosophies of play. We want to play with pace and we want to be aggressive. When we've done some evaluation years ago, when we looked at, okay, what are the traits of the teams that have made it to nationals year after year? The two key things we pulled out was these teams are fast and they're quick. And they're aggressive. They're aggressive in the attack. They're aggressive to defend. And so we've needed to adopt that model. And I think those are the two pillars. When it comes time to a tactical approach, for our philosophy, like our formation, we've moved the last couple of years to a 4-3-3 because we've had the players to be able to fit within that formation with regards to their responsibilities, the traits that the girls possess in those positions, and the versatility of our players to kind of play out of positions a little bit. And so I think we've managed to adapt the 4-3-3, but our girls are also well versatile enough to if we needed to in game, right, at any point in time to change that, then we can. And I think that's what's made us successful.
Yeah, that's very true. And it's interesting talking about the women's game because in soccer, maybe not so much as in Canada, but when you go overseas, there's a huge focus on it. Like you look at like women's sports here, you've got the WNBA, now the PWHL, which is starting to get really hot. But there, it's still not at the same level, and you still deal with some of the same issues we have here in terms of, I don't think people respecting the game as much, but it is a much bigger deal. For you as young women who are coming through, where do you get your inspiration, I would say, from the larger field? Do you watch some of this European stuff? Or is there stuff here that you're watching that you kind of go, I want to do that, or that's the thing that I grew up looking forward?
Well, I'm just going to speak for myself, but I'm sure it's similar for Annika. But growing up, it was always the national team, I think, for a lot of us to look up to, with those big names like Christine St. Clair, Diana Matheson, and a bunch more we can name off. But yeah, younger growing up, that was the kind of, for me, sole inspiration looking up to. And then as I got older, I started watching more like men's soccer, I'd say, like Bundesliga, Premier League, that kind of stuff.
What's your favorite team?
Bayern Munich.
Oh. Oh, you're just on the bandwagon, aren't you?
No.
Okay.
But now this year with the Northern Super League that came to Canada, that's been huge. And even just seeing girls that we grew up playing against and them even playing with our idols growing up, that's been, like Desiree Scott with Ottawa Rapids, that's been awesome to look up to and a great inspiration for us.
No, I'm kind of the same. Like growing up, just watching the national team play, I know Christine Sinclair was probably like my number one person you look to, and I think a lot of girls can say that too. But also just watching like where the girls are who we used to play with, like Jess Emerton is out now playing professional in Turkey, I think she is, and so it's cool to watch her out there. And then there's girls from back at home who also play in the Northern Super League. So just that watching that is been an
And
inspiration.
you're both seniors, right? I think I was looking at your like career stats. I think you're both 5 years.
So I'm in my 6th year, actually.
6th year,
but
okay.
5th year eligibility.
But that's like the most you can do, right?
Yes, yeah.
So for somebody in your position, what would be the path to, I guess, professionally playing? Like, what would be the next steps for you?
So like even over the years that I've been here, it's not something that I originally was looking towards. But now with the development of the Northern Super League and seeing girls, you know, that we played with, like Ani mentioned, Jessica Emerton, playing out in Turkey, and Cyprus now, I think she's at. So, but yeah, now having those options available, yeah, I'm looking towards maybe going to pursue that option the next few years after I graduate. And I think the availability and options of agents and teams are way more available for us.
Well, you can play for the Chelsea's women team. They're good. They're destroying everybody. What about you, Annika?
Well, I'm just in my 4th year, so I got one more year. Next year, I'll probably be coming back to play again.
You get like the laser eyes of like you're coming, you're coming back.
Burning a hole in the side of the cheek here. Yeah, absolutely.
No, but same thing. It was never really something that I thought about to go and play professionally or anything. And I still hesitate with it. I don't know if that's really for me to go and do, but definitely something to consider.
What if you do not play professionally? What are you guys taking right now? What are your majors, and what would you like to do with those majors?
So right now I'm in the Masters of Science in Kinesiology program, and I'm doing research in sports psychology. So a few pathways I could consider is doing a PhD and going really into that research avenue. Another big thing for me personally is coaching. I coach alpine ski racing, ski cross, and soccer as well. So pursuing that coaching avenue would also be a direction I would look towards.
That's a heck of a thing to follow up, Annika. I don't know what you've got.
I'm just in physical and health education, and then hopefully going to teachers college next year.
Nice.
So just elementary school teaching.
We always joke because I went to Canada, right? And Chris, our Pekarski, you know Chris. He used to work at Nipissing, and he went to Nipissing. We always joke that like Nipissing's the smart people one because he got like all the fancy degrees, and then we were over here at Canadore. So there's always like a fun little competition there between Canadore and Nipissing. But let's talk about this year, because this year, you guys have had, I would say, a normal year for you guys. I think last year you had a similar record. Oh no, sorry. Last year I think we were like 9-3, and then the previous years. So not a season that's, I guess you would say, out of the normal for you. You're 7-1-2, tied with UFT for you're first overall right now, but you're tied in record with UFT. You got 2 games left coming up this weekend. UFT is one of them, I believe, on Sunday is your final game. What is the goal for you guys going into that final game? Outside of obviously winning that, but what are some of the ideas that you want to take into those games? Don't all start at once.
No, I think, in terms of as a coach and a staff, I think this is the time where we start to, obviously we need to win, right? We want to win. That's the ultimate goal. I think that goes without saying. I think for us, it's to start to formulate some really good habits as we look to this weekend and leading into playoffs, right? It's to try to get on back on track with, getting on a roll, so to speak, and, start to focus in on, who are the players that are going to lead us there? Who's the ones that are going to step up and get us to where we want to go collectively as a group, right? I know that the girls have been working on, their goals in terms of where do we want to get to this year, right? And I think it just goes without being said. We want to get back to nationals. We got a lot to prove from, our experience last year, and having that experience kind of has lit a little bit of a fire under us. Not comfortable with how we finished last year, knowing we probably could have done better, should have done better.
How did you finish, just for our viewers, how did you finish last year?
So last year we finished 5th at Nationals, 5th overall in terms of the country. And the tournament, it's a tournament style. So if you don't win your first game, unfortunately, you don't get into that medal round. Yeah. So it's how you perform in that first game, right? And then, going into PKs and losing in PKs is a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, right? And when you especially lose that way, when you feel like, you had a chance to win.
And what's the important? Is it important from a recruitment standpoint to say, hey, we're ranked X nationally? What's the importance, I would say, for the university outside of just saying, hey, look, we're number one? Ranked?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, using this year as a measuring stick to see, okay, we've made it to nationals, and you garner some more interest. There's no doubt. But that's the toughest part of this job is the recruitment, right? Logistically, where we're located, we're not typically a soccer part of the province. Let's face it. Northern Ontario is not where everybody's, I really want to go play soccer in North Bay. And that's the toughest part. And I think it's, and the girls can testify is when they get here, it's just a matter of getting the players here, the kids here, to see what we have in North Bay, to see what Nipissing University offers. The minute that recruits walk into this group, what they pull away in terms of feeling like they have a place, just being welcomed, the culture that the group has set for themselves, it's felt within the group, and that is really the biggest recruiting feature that we provide, right? Now, being at nationals doesn't hurt, absolutely. Being ranked nationally doesn't hurt, but we still got to get out and pound the pavement. We got to get out there and say, hey, look at us, right? A small school with a very small population, doing some really big things, right? And it puts, I hope that it puts the university on the map a little bit more in a different light, and with regards to athletics. And I hope that that's something that we can continue to provide our athletes as a really good platform to not only just play soccer, but to get a great education within an awesome group, right? And it can, kind of fills their bucket in terms of the athletic, the academic, the social, and the emotional pieces that we look for.
Yeah, it's fascinating to talk about North Bay because when people come here, they love it, right? Like they're like, oh, this is so cool. You have all these things in your backyard. You guys are right where Descheny Falls is. You have all the trails there. It's a great place. Like, again, I went to Canadore outside of the bus system, which is like a whole other thing in North Bay, where the next year I'm like, I'm getting a car. And then I got a car. But it is a really nice place. And then the people who grew, like me growing up here, everybody just wants to get away. You want to go to the Toronto area or Vancouver, Halifax, or wherever, because you want something a little bit different. But then you realize that North Bay is kind of like the perfect size, really. Mm-hmm. So I guess for you, are you guys, neither of you are from North Bay originally? No. So what brought you, first of all, why did you choose Nipissing as a program? But then also, I guess what made you stay?
Well, for the soccer program, I chose it because of the girls actually who were on the team already. We came up, me and actually my other friend who plays on here too, Emma Franson. We grew up together. We're cousins, so we both came up for our recruiting.
And where are you from?
I'm from Dorchester, Ontario, and she's from London, so it's just...
It's like right down the road.
Right beside each other. We came up for our recruitment, and as soon as we got here, girls were so inviting, so nice, so welcoming. They wanted to get to know you, not just like, oh, another girl's here. Like, they actually wanted to get to know you. And they were really nice to talk about like the programs and answer any questions that we had. And as well as David and Nick were open to any questions. And anytime we wanted to call or wanted to meet, they were always available. So that's what really pulled me towards our program. But
for me, I had a bit of a unique recruitment.
Oh, here we go. Where are you
story.
from?
I'm from originally Georgetown, Ontario, but I live in Bellefountain now.
GTA, right?
GTA
area? Okay, cool.
Yeah, exactly. So, so the first, I guess, encounter with a Nipissing coach we had was with like our past recruiting coach, Mike Russell, and that was throughout like high school, like end of middle school, beginning of high school, when we would do all these showcases. And I think it was at the Umbro Showcase tournament that a bunch of us do. But he had come up to us at the end of, I say us, sorry.
Yeah.
A little background there. My twin sister used to play with us as well, but now she's off at a different school for her
What was her name?
Samantha Brooks.
Samantha? Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So if I use us and we, that's what I mean by that. But he came up to us and, you know, expressed some interest, and we had kept in contact with him. But at the beginning of like high school kind of point, me and Sam had verbally committed and then later on assigned to Central Michigan University. So that's where we were off to. But Mike always said, if anything changes, you can always reach out to us, which was the only coach who had ever said that. And so fast forward to 2020 when we were graduating, that's when the pandemic hit. Mm-hmm. And both of us and our parents were more comfortable to stay closer to home for school and soccer. And we reached right out to Mike and got us in contact with David. And it was all within the span of a few weeks, like late in the summer, like beginning August, late July. And and we got pulled into here. And they had the programs that we were enrolled in at the previous school, so that worked out perfectly also.
That's fascinating about, so just from a career standpoint, the difference between going to like an NCAA, I believe, I'm assuming it'd be part of the NCAA program versus coming here to the OUA, is that, did you find that was potentially detrimental or it was actually good for your career or your potential future in the game?
I think it was better for our career and potential future in the game and work and everything. I think in the past there's always been that stereotype being like Division I is the way to go, and you didn't really hear about, you know, OUA soccer as much as that. Like it was at a young age, it was really put into our teams growing up to get recruited and to go to the States. That was the thing. But I think that's made a massive shift since the pandemic. And now I believe that OUA and U Sports is just as competitive as the NCAA.
Cool. Let's talk a little bit about the season. I know we talked already about the season, but I mean like you guys specifically in the season. Annika, you lead the OUA according to the website. You had a little smile. You know what I'm going with this. 11 goals. You're second in points with 15. So I was going through your stats just to see like how things are going, and you definitely found your scoring touch. So your previous high was 5 last year. Why? So and you're a midfielder as well. I'm assuming you're an attacking midfielder. Yeah. What has changed? Is it a tactical thing? Is it just you found your footing? What's been the difference this year?
I think probably my confidence has really gone up. As being a senior, I think I've found my voice and a lot more of my confidence. Also, over the summer, I play striker over the summer, so I get a lot of that opportunity to practice on my finishing and being in the right spots. But, I think overall my confidence has just been a lot better. So being able to take girls on 1v1 and take the shot and not just always laying the ball off or having a pass, but taking it myself. And then also, like, I just feel like this year our connection among all the girls has been really good, all the way from, like, our goalie all the way up the field. So just knowing that, like, they're there to support you no matter what. And, like, obviously I'm there to support them too, but just knowing we have a good group of girls behind us has really helped.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your, like, I've been up there for a few of the games. You guys definitely have a strong midfield. I find, like, from what I've seen, you definitely command that midfield really well. Cassidy, how's your season gone? I know your numbers have dipped a little bit in terms of goal contribute. I'm trying to say this as nicely as possible because it feels like Annika stole all your goals. But as a striker, like, but you had like 11, I think it was like 15 or 11 goals the year prior. You're sitting on 4, but you have more assists. So that's good. What's been the whole thing with that this year? Do you feel like you've had a good season? Because I know stats aren't everything in soccer. How have you felt your season's gone?
Yeah, personally, honestly, this year I've been very happy with it in terms of I feel like I have almost a different role this year, and not in a bad way at all. Definitely trying to be more creative and just trying different skills throughout the summer. Playing with the Sudbury Cyclones team, I had more opportunities to try different things. Typically, I'd be one to more kind of like lay off the ball or get on the end of the crosses kind of thing. But I think this year I've really been trying to produce those options out on like runs throughout the wing and take players on 1v1. So I think my role and responsibility has just changed a bit this year, and not in a bad way, and maybe even setting up other girls for those opportunities as well. So.
Yeah. Maybe you can talk about David a little bit about how you've maybe used her in a different way, or maybe how your tactics have changed.
Yeah, I don't know if it's necessarily. I mean, they're both here playing with us for a reason because they're talented, right? They're exceptional student athletes. They're exceptional people, and we talked about earlier about the recruitment part. But it's really a testament to both Ani and Cass. Cass, with respect to what she has done and now garnered a lot of attention, right? As soon as you see number 9 on the field, she's going to be marked, right? She's going to have 2 players on her. They're going to come a little more aggressively on Cass. And she's done an exceptional job to handle that, right? It may not necessarily be reflective of how many goals that she wants to score. Yep. But, she because of that attention that she's created for herself, for what she's done in the past, has opened the doors up for others. And so, there's not a ton of pressure on Cass. She's going to do her thing and she's going to find it. Like she's just scratching the surface to break out here.
2 games to go.
2 games.
Couple hat tricks.
And like I said, right, we want to be able to get the ball rolling into the playoffs. So I think that's where, we need to kind of push the gas pedal a little bit. And now with respect to Ani, it's not an easy league. Right, we talked about U Sport, and Cass hinted at NCAA and maybe the comparison between, and it takes a little bit of time to make your mark, right? And Ani's progression has been nothing short but exceptional, and it was only a matter of time before she was going to break out because she can play, right? She can strike a ball. She understands the game. Ani playing more physical this year has contributed to her success, but it also comes with, feeling a little bit more comfortable with that, being, kind of the senior player. So it's nothing that all of a sudden it was a switch that went off. This was a progression, I think, for both of them. And so this is really about, I'm just celebrating them because they've earned everything that they've got.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the people who are, obviously there's only 2 of you. There's at least 11 people on the pitch at a time. Who are some of the other teammates that you want to shout out who have just had great years that you, not necessarily statistically, but as you said, like just on the pitch that you think have just done great?
I'd totally shout up one of our goalies, Madison Healy. Yeah. She's been solid back there, just even from like starting at her leadership, communication, and then all the way to how she's been playing this year. She's been fierce back there, and she comes out a lot, and it just goes to show her confidence and how well she can connect and play as a unit, and it doesn't feel like we're separated from her at all. So. that's my shout out.
I'll shout out my midfield buddies,
Sure.
Alicia McMurrin and Courtney Pullman.
I've seen a couple of her goals actually too.
Yeah,
Yes.
both of them have been pretty good this year. No, it's not just me in the middle. There's three of us, so we rotate through all three positions there. But yeah, no, they're amazing to play with, and they know where to be, where to go with the ball, head up all the time. So they're good to connect to.
And I know you're gonna have like all your players.
Yeah,
but
absolutely. No, but really it is, and we've always preached. The best analogy that was shared with me from a former player was like everybody has a role to play, and if I think maybe the appropriate time with the Blue Jays making the run that they're making, but when you think of you have your starting pitcher, right, and that starting pitcher comes in and has a role, and then you've got your secondary pitcher that comes in. I don't know the right terms with
The
regards to
relief pitchers,
baseball,
yeah.
and then that pitcher might come in and pitch one inning or get two outs. Then you got your reliever and everybody. So with regards to it doesn't matter how much, the impact is big. And we've had the talks about regardless of the role, right? It's not the 90 minutes necessarily. It's can you be that player in training that's preparing everybody, that you're competing at the level that we can be playing at to prepare. Let's face it, we are more veteran players, right? Our players that can experience it. But the three ladies that Ani and Cass have shared have absolutely stepped up. You've got some key first year players that have stepped up and have contributed. So I think it's right across the board, and it's needed. And I know, and you're right. You're alluding to. I'm just gonna do a blanket statement, but I mean that sincerely, though. It's not just 3 or 4 girls that carry the team. It really is the team that carries the team in a lot of different aspects, not just, on the training pitch or on, in game situations. There's lots that happens outside of it in the team room, in the in the team environment, outside of that as well, that there's the girls that play an impact. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the training part, because the one thing that always stuck with me was somebody said, you talk about all these like footballers or soccer players who get paid crap ton of money, and it's all backwards because they get paid weekly, and so they'll be like, you get paid £100 a week, and you go, how much is that? You have to do like the math, but they get paid to train, not to play. Was kind of like the idea, because you'll get these people who just never they never play games, but they're getting paid. Speaking of training and stuff, do you guys train at the Nipissing Field, or do you guys have different training buildings or anything? Or is it just at the Nipissing Field?
At the field, yeah.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about? And I asked Jason Rudge, the lacrosse coach, when we talked to him earlier, about the artificial surface. How do you guys feel about? I know we're up in Northern Ontario, and there's a whole lot of logistics about grass, but I'm sure that growing up, you guys played on a number of pitches, both artificial and real. What are your thoughts as players who have to go up and down that constantly?
Growing up, it was mainly on artificial turf for me. So other than when I was very young. So that's what I'm used to. But we have 2 schools, RMC and Laurentian, who do have grass fields. And it is a bit, of a shift physically with, how you pass the ball, and then even mentally, being prepared for the unexpected bounces and everything like that. But I think we do a good job of preparing for that in warm-up prior to the game. And I mean, some of us do play on grass throughout the summer. Specifically, my home field this summer was a grass field in Sudbury.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Awesome.
I played on grass all growing up. There wasn't
so
really,
completely different.
Yeah, there wasn't much until we went to Toronto tournaments. We played on turf. But no, I enjoy playing on grass. I think you have your pretty not very good grass fields, so those aren't the best to play on. But no, I think for growing up through house league, grass it's fine to play on. But when you get to this higher level, I think the artificial turf is a lot nicer to play on than
it's worse to play on a bad grass field than a bad artificial field. Yeah, that makes sense. And it's a beautiful field, by the way. Like that, the work that they've done over the last 5 years, I think, is when it opened up. I want to say let's call it 5-ish years or whenever it opened. It's really nice up there. And it's nice to see the fan support as well. Whenever you go up there, especially like the first week, like homecoming, all of these things, when people first get back, even when I was there on Sunday for the lacrosse game, there was actually quite a lot of people. And I know I'm talking a little bit about lacrosse, but I love, it's interesting how that sport is it's like a marriage of soccer and hockey. I don't know if you guys ever saw it that way, but when I was talking to Jason about it, I'm like, you guys kind of have the same kind of tactical setup. It's a large field. But going into like the off season and stuff, because your season's pretty short, right? Like the hockey teams are just starting now. They've got a pretty long season, but you guys are obviously limited to weather. And so you've got 2 games left, and then you have your playoffs, nationals, and all that stuff. So you're wrapped up probably by like December, early December. So what happens, I guess, in the spring and over the wintertime for the program?
Yeah, so we obviously park the bus till the new year. Gives the girls a time to kind of to recoup, to breathe a little bit, to relax. But then their culminating tasks are coming up with regards to their academics and being prepared for exams. And so we just shut it down, allow the girls to relax a bit. Then when we get together back in January is when we start our off season, and with now having access to the Canador's dome has been a big change for us, right? As having to not needing to train in the gym, right? As much as what we have in the past. I don't even know how we when we did it, but it's crazy that we, where we've gone as a program without having those types of facilities. Again, a testament to the girls, but so we'll train there once a week. And that's to kind of continue more of a tactical approach to and kind of scaffolding things and breaking it down if we would decide that we want to change the tactics or really just kind of focus on how can we get better at certain parts. So that allows us to do it, kind of using the dome. But then the girls have their own, their strength and conditioning workouts. We have twice a week still in the gym where the girls have their own, they can do what they want to do in terms of, they run their little futsal sessions and stuff like that to keep it fun, but still getting the work in. And then we'll do a hit exercise once a week too, where we incorporate a ball. And I love it, but not sure if the girls like it too much.
Do you guys like it?
I mean, we know it's something we have to do to stay
Okay,
fit,
so no, they don't like it.
They don't like it, no.
Okay, so as we wrap up here, you've been in kind of a little bit on both sides, right? Like men's and women's, mostly women's, but you played like on the men's side. With the change, because it's funny when you look at the Lakers and you look at like the women's hockey and women's soccer are like top ranked nationally, and then the men's team struggling on their side. Do you think? I guess the question is, do you think there's a difference between being in your position for a women's coach versus a men's coach when it comes to recruitment? We talked about it a little bit. There's less of a pool to choose from. But do you think that you maybe have an easier or harder job than maybe some of the men's side or?
That's a great question. And I don't know if it's the same, right? There's elements of the recruiting that are different from sport to sport, gender to gender. The biggest thing, I think, is the academic piece too. And I really want to say this, but I might get in trouble. Academically, I think, at least for us, like we're going to be greedy in our recruitment. We want to recruit, great people. But part of that is to get great students and great athletes. And we know we may not be able to get all three, but our first priority is, do they want to be here because they like the academic program? The soccer piece will be there.
Is there a GPA that you guys have to? I know there is, but do you have a higher than standard GPA that you have to?
No, I don't think so. No, not that we have set anything in terms of our specific program. We haven't done that. But there are differences, right? And again, I think for Tony and the men's soccer team, it's, how we going to pull, student athletes to come play soccer in Northern Ontario where it's cold, right? I can't speak for Darren or Mike with regards to hockey. in that aspect. Northern Ontario maybe being, maybe more of a hockey town, but I don't know if that plays a factor. I think I think the academics piece plays a factor. Men's hockey, the guys that come in are typically older, have a little bit more of a hockey background. So the landscape is different a little bit. And so I don't even know if I'm really answering your question. I can just tell you from our perspective, it's different. It has to be different, right? The one thing I think is consistent that all the coaches can say is if we can just host that visit with that recruit, the chances of us landing that recruit are really good. Right,
Wow.
but
do you have a percentage or probably not?
I wish we had a stat on that, right? To say okay, but I just in talking with recruits and talking with parents, it's we were really surprised with what you offered, and it's again we're kind of like that best kept little secret, right? Is what is Nipissing University, but we just got to get them here. And I think that's fair for all the programs, not just the four that I've mentioned. But so it's a challenge. It's a lot of hard work, but it can get done. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's just something that was interesting that I noticed, right? Because you look at how strong the women's side is versus the men's, and then there's a whole bunch of things, right? There's less women who play sports versus men. So the pool is smaller, but it's also women are incredibly physical too. I will never forget the time I played house league hockey against the women's team. They were so they weren't bad. They were just so physical. And so a lot of there's this misconception that men are more physical, but they've never seen women play because it gets even your games get pretty crazy. So let's end on a kind of a light note here. Favorite game that you guys have personally played this season for whatever reason? It could be performance, just a fun place to visit. What was the highlight of the 25-26 season for you guys?
For me, it would right off the bat be our season opener against Ottawa. Just finally getting that win against them felt very good, especially on their home turf. So
nice.
I hate to say the same thing, but just that whole weekend was good against Ottawa and Carleton, coming out with two big wins that I feel really pushed the start of our season in the right direction. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have to agree with both.
You guys are so lame.
I know, but it's true, right? I think it was especially that first game for all of our group, more specifically our returning players. It was an opportunity for redemption. It was an opportunity to prove. It was really a rematch of the OUA final last year. And so to beat Ottawa, who, has been our nemesis, and beat them at home, and the way we did it, it wasn't just the win. It was everybody pulling their weight, to contribute to that win. It was satisfying to see the smiles on their face because we always believed that we could do it. And so it was good to start our season off with a win against, kind of knocking down Goliath a little bit here.
Yeah. So maybe the next time we'll talk is after you guys win everything, potentially. When do the playoffs start? The mid-October, kind of later October?
It's going to be a wait and see. We could be starting next Wednesday, or we could be starting the what are we on here?
Probably home. You guys have home turf advantage. I'm assuming you would be.
That's the goal. Absolutely, yeah.
Assuming things go well in the last two games, yeah.
Yes, then we should be. So we'll get our first game bye, and then getting ready for what they call quarterfinals.
Do you guys just play a single leg, or is it just the one game? Okay, so it's quarterfinals, semis, finals. Nothing too crazy there.
Yeah.
And who's outside of yourself? Who do you think are you said University of Ottawa? Who are the people you're kind of keeping an eye on that? If things go to plan, there's no upsets that you think the finals are going to look like, or how you think it's going to shape out?
I think Queens was definitely probably our I mean, we haven't played Toronto yet, but I think Queens has been our toughest battle.
Queens looked hard. I was at I was at that game, and I got the goal they scored against you guys. I think it was the second goal where they took the lead, if I remember. There's a lot going on in my head. Yeah, and then I think when I was leaving, you guys scored again. Oh no, you scored maybe like 20 minutes later. So I think it was at the beginning of the second half. But that was a good game. Like, you could definitely tell Queens was there. So yeah, so probably Queens, UFT, probably the two.
Yeah, I think so. In terms of the East, at some point in time, you'll cross over in the playoffs, play the West. Guelph is looking really good. Western, predominantly strong, looking good as well. And then so I think those will be the top two coming out of the West. And then it's Nipissing and whoever else coming out of the East.
Cool, sweet. Anything else you guys want to talk about? You want to bring up about the program? Anything we didn't touch on, or don't all talk at once?
No,
it's fine.
I think it's, I'll just share maybe on behalf of the girls. I think the support that we've felt with our Nipissing community, like our on-campus community, the administration, the staff, our fellow, student athletes that always come out to support, and cheer us on, and not so much the opponents, has made it a kind of a hostile environment for us to play in. So that's always fun. And so I hope that our Nipissing community understands how much we love it, how much we appreciate it. And then I think even just our soccer community in general, just, the little girls, I'll say, that come out to watch, and the little boys that come out and look up to the girls as role models is pretty cool to see. And I think, the outreach that we've had with regards to our success over the last handful of years has, I hope, permeated through and has kind of given some inspiration to our little ones to say, I can play at this level. Yeah. And so, for that, I think lights a little bit of, gives them a little more fuel to want to compete and show and to prove that, as a Northern Ontario school, we can do big things. So wanted to share that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, David Bitonti, Annika Nolte, got it right. Annika Nolte, Cassidy Brooks. Thank you guys so much for coming in, talking to me this afternoon, and good luck in the playoffs and the last two games of the season.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So this has been another Echo Sportscast Spotlight interview. I'm Ben Sargent. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe.